I put up a poll on my community tab asking you all what classic album I should review, and the winner was Heartwork by Carcass. A very good album because it is allegedly the first melodic death metal album. So in this video, I'm going to be going through a lot of history the way I love to do. I'll talk about the evolution of their sound leading up to this album. Then I'll do the track-by-track analysis, and then there will be some fun stuff like Beavis and Butthead and a scene from the TV show Friends and all of that that will be coming up. You see him outside, but I'm using a green screen because I don't feel like going outside, but I'll just do that for now, and then I'll go back to my normal spot. So let's flip this over right now. Carcass is from Liverpool, England. Here's a picture of the Beatles in downtown Liverpool. They probably should have a statue of Carcass because that's how good the band is. They formed back in 1985 and have gone through many lineup changes. The founding members, Bill Steer and Jeff Walker, are the constant members. They have played as the 3-piece and the 4-piece throughout different times, and they have a sound. They started as grindcore and they ended up being a lot like a death metal. And it's interesting that they are pioneers, or not really pioneers, but like one of the first of death metal or gore grind. And they're also one of the first bands with melodic death metal, which is what I'm talking about today. I really like this band because they talk about animal rights. They're vegetarians. A lot of their song titles are graphic, but they're things that come straight out of medical student textbooks. And I'll be talking about all of that in this the first video. Album called Reek of Putrefaction in 1988. They had a very graphic album cover with lots of body parts and images that are from autopsy photographs from medical journals. Thought it was very interesting, and this is also one of the first grindcore albums. The song titles are very gory, such as Vomited Anal Tract and Genital Grinder. Then they released Symphonies of Sickness in 1989. This was the first time that death metal and grindcore started to come together. The album cover is similar to the first album with a lot of drawings that can be found in medical textbooks. Song titles were also very graphic, such as Crepitating Bowel Erosion, showing that this band likes to use bathroom humor in their song titles. In 1991, they released Necroticism, Descanting the Insalubrious, and they evolved their sound once again to technical death metal, which was something that was new on the scene. They even said that the album was a progressive album. The album cover was a little more tame, showing members of the band. I guess it could be a carvener with a bloody hammer. This was the band's first album as a 4-piece, as seen on the album cover. Now it's 1993. They released the album that the video is based on, Heartwork, with a more melodic style, and arguably the first melodic death metal album, even though that is usually credited to At the Gates with Slaughter of the Soul. This was released on October 18, 1993 in the UK and January 11, 1994 in the US. The cover was designed by H.R. Geiger, and this is a sculpture that was updated for this album. The original sculpture was created in the 1960s, and this album had the same lineup as the previous album, with Jeff Walker on vocals and bass, Michael Lamont on guitar, Bill Steer on guitar, and Ken Owen on drums. So Carcass was featured in Beavis and Butthead in the scene where they're watching the music video for Heartwork. Butthead says something like they're trying to weld a butthole closed or something like that. Here's the scene.
Welding his butt cheeks shut. Why would they do that? I don't know. I think it would be cool to have a butt without a crack.
Years later, they were mentioned in an episode of the sitcom Friends. The episode is when Monica is looking for a wedding dress, and she's talking about hiring a band, and her friend says that her fiancé wants to hire the heavy metal band Carcass for the wedding. Even though they should have said grindcore band for the wedding, but it's just Friends. But here's that clip.
Oh, my fiance wants the Swing Kings.
Oh, you're so lucky. My fiance wants the heavy metal band Carcass.
Oh, is that spelled with a C or a K? Oh my God, it doesn't matter. They're both.
Here's a clip of a hairless Chihuahua puppy stealing my socks. The album has 10 songs and it's 41 minutes long. Let me now do the track by track. First track, Buried Dreams. So the bass player, Jeff Walker, he wrote the lyrics while he was reading a book called Inside the Mind of John Wayne Gacy. They have a line called All You Need Is Hate, kind of like a take on the Beatles lyric, All You Need Is Love. This was one of the 3 singles from Heartwork. It was on the radio and metal publications for the albums released to promote the album. I like the song, I like the guitar riff. The pace is not too fast. It makes the guitar riff very memorable. It has a classic death metal sound, but it had more of an accessible sound. And the guitar solo is also very melodic. Carnal Forge is a little faster paced and closer to traditional death metal. The vocals are very harsh and you are assaulted with a barrage of guitar riffs. The drumming is very intense, but things change when the guitar solo comes in. This is where the melodic death metal comes in. They follow this up with some really chunky guitar riffs. No Love Lost is next. This can be interpreted either as a breakup of a couple or countries going to war. It's a great song, has a memorable guitar riff. It's one of the slower songs. They do it in a way that keeps things heavy. I think this one sounds like a little bit like Pantera. The song has that cool like groove sound. And Pantera was also pretty big at this time. Next is Heartwork. This was one of the singles from the album of the same name and probably their most like well-known song. It's a blend of like death metal and these like Iron Maiden style guitar harmonies. This was one of the more like defining songs of the genre. Song lyrics are talking about like artistic expression, but for example, putting body parts on display, but they do it in like a darker way or the dark side of art. I like the song because they change tempos throughout the song and they make it both memorable and heavy. Embodiment is one of the slower songs. It has some really chunky guitar riffs. The song is very heavy, still has lots of melodic parts. The best part is at the 2-minute mark where they do some palm muted guitar riffs and some melodic guitar sounds. This Mortal Coil is next. So this one has the phrase, shuffle off this mortal coil. This is from Shakespeare's Hamlet and to be or not to be or something like that. Just basically describing the burden of existing in this world. This is a faster and heavier song. They have these cool galloping sounds on the guitar, lots of those Iron Maiden-esque style guitar riffs, and they add in heavy guitar chords and has some fast parts, and it's really an energetic song. The next song title is in German and it's called Arbeit macht Fleisch. I believe it means work makes flesh. Or basically I think it's based on Arbeit macht frei, or work makes you free. And those are words that are on the gate of Auschwitz. Pretty cool song. Start with a heavy guitar riff and then go into double time. The song does a good job of keeping you interested with time signature changes. The song is great. It's more like tech death. It kind of has a cool groove with these stop-start guitar riffs and they keep things interesting with different changes throughout the song. This is the penultimate song in the album. Definitely has a cool groove sound. The lead guitar sounds very good. They're bringing a rock and roll vibe to the song and still maintaining that heavy sound. The last song is Death Certificate. This one has some cool melodic leads. The vocals are very harsh. The song mixed in lots of time signature changes with melodic guitar riffs. It's very good. The rhythm's not very fast paced, but there's a lot of feeling in the sound, and they take advantage of that tried and true like open 6-string chugging sound with a palm muting, and very common in metal, but we never get tired of it because we love it. So that's all. This is an accessible album. It's a good gateway for metalheads who have not really delved into extreme metal. It's the first of melodic death metal albums, supposedly. I think it could be. I think maybe like the bands from Sweden would really perfect the sound later, but I think this is more like a death metal band following some 90s trends like the groove metal of Pantera and Metallica's Black Album. But overall, it's just a really killer album. I definitely recommend it if you're want to like check out some like heavier stuff if you haven't listened to it yet. So that is all. Check out this video right here, whatever I put. And please like this video. It helps me with the algorithm. And please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm pretty close to 2,000. I think I need a little bit over 50 subs. And please comment. I like to reply to comments. And I'll see you in the next one.